my name is Tom Vasel, and welcome to the AlphaBest series of games. We're almost at the end here. These are where I'm taking the top 10 favorite games from each letter of the alphabet, and today we have the letter Y. All right, now actually Y you would think would be an easier list to fill, and actually not as many games start with Y as I thought. I was still able to get 10 of them, so here we go. Number 10 is Gettysburg, which is still one of my favorite names for a game ever. I just love the idea of it being the Battle of Gettysburg, and Yetis show up for, they just attract it to the fighting. And in fact, this is a very simple card combat game where the Union versus the Confederates, except you have mammoths and you have Yetis who show up. And if you accidentally hit your own Yeti, those Yetis will turn on your own troops. They might even throw your own troops to the side to get to the battle quickly. But hey, they're there. Is that kind of useful? A fun little card game. I don't know if they ever did come out with a sequel, Dismember the Alamo, but points for theme alone, but the game itself was actually fun too. Number 9 is You've Been Sentenced. The worst thing I can say about You've Been Sentenced is I don't like shuffling pentagonal cards, because I don't know that there's any other game I can say that about where the cards have words on all 5 sides, and you get a pile of them, and you are trying to take these words and make an actual grammatically correct sentence. And it's a lot of fun as you try to figure out the sentences. You're trying to make long ones. They do a good job. They came out with several expansion packs that added sports and popular culture and Mensa, I think there was. And sometimes if you use certain words, you get more bonus points. An entertaining game, and I found works really well for people who are wordsmiths. Number 8 is Yahtzee Free For All. Now, Yahtzee gets a lot of hate, but I actually have always thought Yahtzee was a fun style game where you roll dice and try to get different combos. Yahtzee Free For All is, I think, a very good version of Yahtzee where you can roll different combinations, but then someone can steal those combinations from you. It has more interaction because Yahtzee essentially is a solitaire game, and who cares what the other people do. This one I can say, hey, I'm going to try to roll these. It's still Yahtzee at its core. Some nice components and just a way to interact with other players, I think elevates us above ordinary Yahtzee. Number 8, or that was number 8. Number 7, Yggdrasil. Yggdrasil is a cooperative game about stopping the end of the world using Thor and Odin and all the Norse gods. And this is somewhat of an abstracted game. I mean, I think the theme comes through, but there's enemies marching towards you. You know, you have to use your forces to stop them. And this is one of the few cooperative games that I've never won. In fact, I've only met a few people who've ever won it a couple times. It's a very difficult game, and especially the more players you add, it gets even more difficult, but it was a fun experience. Maybe it could have been a little bit easier, I think, as time has gone by, but it still stands out amongst cooperative games. I think the theme, even though the theme is a little abstracted, it's pretty strong. It's hard to explain. It's there, and it's like, wow, end of the world. But if you take a look, it doesn't really match the mechanism as well as I think as it could, but still offers some unique experiences. Number 6 is Ease. Now, Ease is interesting because I believe this was the first game from Eastaria. It was one of the first, and this is when they started putting the letters Y and S in all their game titles, except this one, that was the game title. And this was a game about buying and selling jewels, and it was a semi-hidden auction game in which half you had these discs with numbers on them, and half of them you placed face up so the other players could see what they were. The other half you played face down, and I thought that was a good combo back and forth as you kind of placed workers and changed the costs of different gems and tried to sell them. A very solid game. Didn't really get a lot of traction. You'll hardly hear anyone talk about it now, but it did get this company off the ground. Number 5, Yardmaster Express. Now, Yardmaster is a fine little game, but Yardmaster Express I enjoy more about it takes a small card game, makes it smaller as you're putting a bunch of trains in a row. Very simple, beautiful artwork, and the new version even looks nicer. Just trying to get the right colors. It's a simple concept. It kind of takes that idea of the micro game. It's a little bigger maybe than a micro game, but still has that same feel to it with trains, and just really does a good job at that. Number 4 is Yido. Yido, have you ever played Lords of Waterdeep and thought, wow, I wish this game had more depth to it? It doesn't need more depth. Lords of Waterdeep is fine, but Yido takes that and adds more to it. It's a worker placement game where you need to go accomplish missions, but this one's set in samurai feudal Japan, and you are trying to go to different spots to get money, to get warriors, to get weapons, to get these things, and then go out and accomplish different missions. There's a lot going on in the game. You can really mess other people over in this game, which some people don't enjoy, but there's a lot. I think the theme here is strongly integrated. It has a very cool looking board, a lot of options each turn. That's Yido. Number 3 is Yomi. This is a 2-player Street Fighter style game in which I have one character, you have another. We simply have a deck of cards that are customized to ours. They look like playing cards. There's different suits and numbers on those. But that is used, it's kind of as a mix for a rock, paper, scissors element. Each turn we put something out. And this attack will beat that attack, but that attack beats this attack, which beats the other attack. And it kind of has this around and around as you guess. You have a few special powers in each of the characters, and knowing when to use those. It essentially is a very expanded version of rock, paper, scissors, but there's a lot going on, and it is very fun. Each deck has a very different feel to it, the different characters, and it plays pretty quickly. That is Yomi. Number 2 is Yinch. Now, I'm glad that this game was named Yinch, if for no other reason. I can stick it under the letter Y, because the names of these games never make any sense. It's part of the GIPH series, G-I-P-H. There's also Devon and Zertz, and they're just all weirdly named. Yinch is the best of this series, a 2-player abstract game, which I would put hands down any day over games like chess and all, because in this game, you were trying to get 5 in a row by moving discs on a board. It's very straightforward, but the game offers some strong strategic and tactical maneuvering, and as you are winning, you actually kind of have a handicap, because every time you get 5 in a row, you have to remove one of your rings from the board, giving you fewer options. And so it kind of is a balancing feature there, but still doesn't mean that, oh, no, it's your turn to score a point. No, you can easily win this game by outthinking the other player. Beautiful pieces. Abstract games aren't everyone's cup of tea, but this is one I think everybody should try at least once. And then my favorite game that starts with the letter Y, and that's Your Bluffing. In fact, I just had a listener send me the newest version of that one. It's called Kuhandel in German. But Your Bluffing is a small card game in which you are essentially buying different animals, barnyard animals, and trying to get groups of those animals. But most of the game, you are offering groups of animals to another player. But there's cards there that are worth nothing. And you can offer them a lot of cards and be like, well, is there several zeros amongst these cards? And so you essentially are bluffing the other player. So there's a little bit of auctioning, a lot of bluffing, and a lot of fun. This is a great game. I love to see this one get a US print because it's really that fun of a game. All right, folks, those are my letters. Y, best games. One left to go. The letter Z. Ho-ho, we're almost done here. What are your favorite games that start with the letter Y? Tell me in the comments. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel. You've been watching the Dice Tower, and this has been the AlphaBest series.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching the Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.